Hello everyone, welcome to Prep to the Point. How are you and how is your preparation? Hope your preparation is going well. In today's video, here is the computer shortcut key in which there will be complete preparation either you are preparing for Group D or UPSC. The contents of this video are as follows. Questions asked in 2025 competitive exams, quick overview category wise, frequently asked questions in exams, most repeated questions in exam, previous year's questions, total 300 MCQ for practice, and last, test yourself with 4 most common questions to check your preparation. First of all, questions asked in 2025 competitive exam. What is the function of Control Z? It's undo the last action. Control Z means undo. What does Control Y do in MS Word? It's redo the last action. Control Y, redo. Which shortcut is used to refresh a web page in a browser? F5. F5 for refresh. Control plus S is used for save the current file. Control plus S, save. Shortcut to select all in any document is Control plus A. Control plus A for select all. Function of Control plus C in MS Word, copy the selected text. Control plus C, copy. Control plus V is used for paste copied content. Control plus V, paste. What is the use of Control X? Cut the selected text. Control plus X, cut. Shortcut to print a document is Control plus P. Control plus P means print. Alt plus F4 does what? Closes the current window. Alt plus F4, close. Control plus Home moves to the cursor to beginning of the document. Control plus Home, beginning. Shortcut to open Find dialog box in MS Word. Control plus F. Control plus F for Find. Control plus N is used for open a new window or document. Control plus N means new window or new document. Control plus O opens existing document. Control plus W in browser is used to close current tab. Control plus W, close current tab. F7 key in MS Word is used for spelling and grammar check. F7 for spelling and grammar check. Control plus B in Word is used to make text bold. Control plus B, bold. Shortcut for italic text. Control plus I. Control plus I, italic. Control plus U is used to underline text. Control plus U, underline. Which shortcut is used to rename a selected file? F2. Windows plus D does what? Show desktop. Windows plus D, show desktop. Shortcut to lock your PC. Windows plus L. Windows plus L, lock the PC. Control plus Shift plus Escape opens Task Manager directly. Control plus Shift plus Escape, Task Manager directly. Which shortcut opens Run dialog box? Windows plus R. Windows plus R opens Run dialog box. Alt plus Tab allows you to switch between open applications. Alt plus Tab, switch between applications. Shortcut key to minimize all open windows. Windows plus M. Windows plus M, minimize all open windows. Control plus Shift plus N is used for create a new folder. Control Shift N, create a new folder. Shortcut to open task view. Windows plus Tab. Windows plus Tab, task view. Control plus Tab is used to move to next tab. Control tab, move to next tab. For opening File Explorer, Windows plus E, Windows E, opening File Explorer. Control plus Enter in MS Word does what? Inserts a page break. Control plus Enter inserts page break. Shortcut key for bold text in Excel. Control plus B. Control plus B for bold. Shortcut to insert hyperlink in MS Word. Control plus K. Control K hyperlink. Alt plus Enter in Windows Explorer does what? Open file or folder of properties. Alt plus Enter open file or folder properties. Shortcut for cutting selected text. Control plus X. Control X cut. Shortcut to reopen a closed browser tab. Control plus Shift plus T. Control Shift T reopen close browser. Control plus Shift plus Escape is a shortcut for directly open Task Manager. Control plus D in a browser does what? Bookmark the current page. Control D bookmark the current page. Shortcut to open the start menu. Control plus SQ. Control plus Escape open start menu. Shift plus Delete does what? Permanently deletes file bypassing recycle bin. Shift plus Delete permanently delete file. Shortcut to zoom in screen in Windows. Windows plus plus. Shortcut to zoom Windows plus plus. F11 key is used to switch to full screen mode. F11 switch to full screen mode. Shortcut to open system setting in Windows. Windows plus I. Windows plus I open system setting in Windows. Windows plus pause or break opens system properties. Windows plus pause break opens system property. Alt plus spacebar open Windows control menu. Alt spacebar opens window control menu. Shortcut for opening Action Center. Windows plus A. Windows A opening Action Center. Control plus Shift plus Escape is different from Control plus Alt plus Delete because open Task Manager directly. Control plus Shift plus Escape is used to open Task Manager directly, while Control plus Alt plus Delete doesn't open Task Manager directly but helps to open Task Manager. Shortcut key to open clipboard in Windows. Windows plus V. Windows V to open clipboard in Windows. Control plus Shift plus greater than mark. Increase font size. Control plus Shift plus less than decrease font size. Shortcut to insert current date in MS Word. Alt Shift D. Alt Shift D to insert current date. To insert current time in MS Word, Alt Shift T. Alt Shift D for date, Alt Shift T for time. Control plus Shift plus less than does what? Decrease font size. Alt plus Tab is used for switching between open application. Alt Tab switch between open application. Shortcut for open dialog box in MS Word. Control plus O. Control O open dialog box. Which key combination is used to delete a selected item permanently bypassing recycle bin? Shift plus Delete. Shift Delete is used to delete a selected file permanently. Shortcut to open emoji panel in Windows 10 or 11. Windows plus dot. Windows plus dot to open emoji panel. To duplicate a file or folder, drag plus what key? Control key. Press Control while dragging to duplicate a file or folder. Shortcut to move a file while dragging. Shift while dragging. Press Shift while dragging to move a file while dragging. Shortcut to open notification center in Windows 11, Windows plus N. Windows plus N to open notification center. Control plus R in browser is used to refresh page which are similar to F5. Control plus R, refresh. Shortcut to open sniping tool, snipe and sketch is Windows Shift S. Windows plus Shift plus S to open sniping tool. Shortcut to open magnifier in Windows, Windows plus plus. Windows plus is used to open magnifier in Windows. Which shortcut maximizes the current windows? Windows plus up arrow. Which shortcut minimizes the current window? Windows plus down arrow. Up arrow for maximize and down arrow for minimize. F2 is used to rename selected item. F2 for rename selected item. Control plus Shift plus Escape is used for directly open task manager. Which shortcut allows you to search the file explorer? Control plus F. Control plus F is used to search file. Shortcut for new incognito windows in Chrome is Control Shift N. Control Shift N for new incognito window. Windows plus K does what in Windows 11? Open, connect or cast panel. Control plus J is used for downloads. Control plus J for MS Office is justify, but Control plus J in browser downloads. What does Control plus W in Word or browser? Close the current window or tab. Control plus W, close. Shortcut key to switch between virtual desktop in Windows. Control Windows left or right arrow. Control window left or right arrow is used to switch between virtual desktops. Alt plus F8 in MS Word is used to run a macro. Alt plus F8, run a macro. To move active windows to another monitor, Windows plus Shift plus left or right arrow. Windows Shift left right arrow to move active window to another monitor. Shortcut key to select address bar in browser, Control plus L. Alt plus F4 is used to close the current application window. Alt F4 for close. What does Windows plus Control plus D do? Create a new virtual desktop. Windows Control plus D create a new virtual desktop. What is the function of Control plus spacebar in MS Word? It removes formatting. Control plus spacebar for removing formatting. Windows plus H is used for launch voice typing. Windows plus H, launch voice typing. Shortcut for full screen in command prompt, Alt plus enter. Alt plus enter for full screen in command prompt. Control plus Shift plus escape opens with which utility? Task manager. Control Shift escape direct open of task manager. Windows plus arrow key is used to snap window to side or maximize, minimize. Windows plus arrow keys to snap window to side or maximize, minimize. Control plus T in browser is used for open a new tab. Control plus T, open new tab. Control plus N in browser or Word, open new window or new document. Control plus N for new, open new things. That may be window or document. Shortcut for opening browser history, Control plus H. Control plus H for history. F1 key is universally used for opening help. F1 for help. Shortcut to show or hide desktop quickly, Windows plus D. Windows plus D, show or hide desktop. What does Windows plus P do? Choose projection display mode. Windows plus P, choose projection display mode. Shortcut key to open quick launch menu, power user menu. Windows plus X. Windows X to open quick link menu. What is the shortcut to toggle between insert and overwrite mode? Insert. The insert is used to toggle between insert and overwrite mode. Shortcut to lock current layer in PowerPoint. Control plus Shift plus L. Control Shift L is used to lock current layer. Shortcut key to redo an action. Redo. Control plus Y. Control plus Y for redo. Control plus Alt plus delete opens security options menu. Control Alt delete to open security option menu. Shortcut for closing the current workbook in Excel. Control plus W. Control plus W for closing. Control plus 1 in Excel opens format cell dialog box. Control plus 1 for format cells dialog box. Shortcut for align center text in Word or Excel. Control plus E. Control plus E for center. Control plus R in Excel does what? Fill right. Control plus R for fill right. Shortcut key to apply underline format. Control plus U. Control U underline. Shortcut key to open developer tab in MS Word. Alt plus L. Alt plus L to open developer tab. Shortcut key to open VBA editor in MS Office. Alt plus F11. Alt plus F11 to open VBA Visual Basic editor in MS Office. Shortcut key to open document navigation panel in MS Word. Control plus F. Control Shift C in MS Word is used to copy formatting. Control Shift C for copy formatting. Control Shift V to paste formatting. Control Shift C copy formatting and Control Shift V paste formatting. F4 in MS Word repeats the last action. F4 to repeat last action. Control plus 2 in MS Word applies double line spacing. Control plus 5 in Word sets 1.5 line spacing. Shortcut to align left in Word or Excel. Control plus L. Control plus L means left align. Shortcut to align right in Word or Excel. Control plus R. Right align. L for left align and R for right align. Control Shift N in MS Word create normal style paragraph. Control Q in MS Word removes paragraph formatting. Control plus Q paragraph formatting. Control plus Alt plus F inserts footnote. Control plus Alt plus F for inserting footnote. F for footnote. Control plus Alt plus D inserts end note. D for end note. Shortcut for thesaurus in MS Word. Shift F7. Shift F7 for thesaurus in MS Word. What does Control plus Shift plus L apply in MS Word? Bullet list. Control Shift L for bullet list. Shortcut for subscript in Word. Control plus equal to. Control plus equal to for subscript in Word. Shortcut for superscript in Word. Control plus Shift plus equal to. Control plus Shift plus equal to. Control plus equal to for subscript and Control Shift equal to for superscript. Control plus M does what in Word? Indent paragraph. Control M for indent paragraph. Shortcut to remove paragraph indent. Control Shift M. Control M for indent paragraph or Control Shift M to remove paragraph indent. Control Shift T in MS Word, reduce hanging indent. Control Shift T, reduce hanging indent. Control plus T in MS Word, create hanging indent. Alt plus Shift plus left arrow in Word, promote heading label. Alt Shift left, promote heading label. Alt Shift right, demote heading label. Alt plus Control plus 1 applies heading 1. Alt Control 2, heading 2. Alt Control 3 for heading 3. Alt Shift plus up arrow in Word does what? Moves a paragraph up. Alt Shift up arrow, paragraph up. Alt Shift down arrow moves a paragraph down. That means for up arrow, paragraph up. For down arrow, paragraph down. Shortcut to center align paragraph in MS Word. Control E. Control E for center. Shortcut to justify text in MS Word. Control J. Control J for justify. Control plus Shift plus F in Words does what? Open font dialog. Control Shift F, open font dialog. Control Shift P opens font size box. Control Shift greater than font size, and Control Shift dollar for applies currency format. Control Shift dollar for apply currency format. Control Shift percentage hash in Excel applies percentage format. Control Shift currency hash for applies percentage format. Shortcut for applying border in Excel, Control Shift plus and. Control Shift and for applying border. Control plus semicolon in Excel is inserts current date. Control plus semicolon inserts current date. Control plus colon in Excel inserts current time. Shortcut to hide selected rows in Excel, Control plus 9. Control 9 to hide selected rows in Excel. Shortcut to hide selected column in Excel, Control plus 0. For 9 to hide selected rows, for 0 to hide selected column. Control plus page up in Excel does what? Move to previous sheet. Control plus page up to move previous sheet. Control plus page down to move next sheet. Page up for previous sheet, page down for next sheet. Shortcut to insert a new worksheet in Excel, Shift plus F11. Shift F11 to insert new worksheet. Control plus grave accent in Excel, show formula. This is grave accent. Control plus grave accent, show formula. Shortcut to start slideshow in PowerPoint, F5. F5 for slideshow in PowerPoint. To start slideshow from current slide, Shift plus F5. F5 is used to start slideshow, but to start slideshow from current slides, it's Shift F5. Control plus M in PowerPoint, insert new slides. Insert new slide, Control M. Control plus D in PowerPoint, duplicate the selected slide. Control plus D for duplicate the selected slide. Shortcut to group objects in PowerPoint, Control plus G. For ungroup, Control plus U. Control plus G group, and for ungroup, Control plus U. Shortcut to ungroup objects, Control Shift G. Control Shift G or Control U. Shortcut to insert a hyperlink in PowerPoint, Control plus K. Control plus K for hyperlink. Control Shift plus greater than in PowerPoint increases font size of selected text. Control Shift greater than font size of selected text increases. Control plus Shift plus less than to decrease the font size of selected text. F7 in PowerPoint is used to run spell check. F7 for run spell check. Shortcut key to display the ruler in PowerPoint: Alt Shift F9. Alt Shift F9 to display the ruler. Alt Shift C in PowerPoint to close master view. Alt Shift C, C for close master view. Shortcut to show or hide grid lines in PowerPoint: Shift plus F9. Shift F9 to show or hide grid lines. To open slide sorter view in PowerPoint: Alt plus V plus D. Alt V D is used to open slide sorter view in PowerPoint. Alt plus N P in PowerPoint inserts picture. Alt plus N P in PowerPoint inserts picture. Alt plus N T in PowerPoint text box. P for picture, T for text box. Shortcut key for new presentation in PowerPoint: Control plus N. Control plus N for new presentation. Control plus A in PowerPoint selects all objects on a slides. Control plus A for select all. Shortcut for print preview in Office application: Control plus F2. Control F2 for print preview. Alt plus F4 in PowerPoint does what? Close the applications. Alt plus F4 for closing. Shortcut to exit slideshow in PowerPoint: Escape. Escape is used to exit slideshow. Shortcut key for creating a chart in Excel: Alt plus F1. Alt F1 for creating chart. Shortcut to insert a new comment in Excel: Shift F2. Shift F2 to insert new comment. Control plus Shift plus plus in Excel is to insert new row or column. Control Shift plus to insert new row or column. Control plus minus in Excel is delete selected row or column. Control minus delete selected row or column. Control F3 for name manager. Control F3 for name manager. F3 in Excel is used to paste a defined name. F3 to paste defined name. Control plus K in Excel, hyperlink. Control plus K is for hyperlink. Control plus Shift plus in Excel is applies general number format. To apply general number format, Control Shift. Alt plus equal to in Excel is used to auto sum. Alt plus equal to auto sum. Control plus Shift plus upper arrow in Excel applies exponential number format. Control plus Shift plus at the rate is used for time format, that is hour, minute, AM, PM. Control plus Shift plus hash is used for applying date format, that is DD, month and year. For time format it is at the rate. For date format it is hash. Control plus Shift plus double quote is used for copies value from cell above. Shortcut to toggle absolute and relative cell references in Excel: F4. F4 to toggle absolute and relative cell reference. F2 in Excel is used to edit the active cell. F2 for edit active cell. Shortcut to open insert functions dialog in Excel: Shift plus F3. Shift F3 to open insert function dialog box. Control plus Shift plus open bracket for displaying cells referenced by formulas. Control Shift open bracket to display cells referenced by formulas. Control Shift close bracket to display cells dependent on the active cell. Control Shift exclamation for number format with 2 decimal places. Control Shift star current region around active cell. Shortcut key to insert hyperlink. Control plus K. Control plus K means hyperlink. F1 in any MS Office application is used to open help. F1 for help. Alt plus F in MS Office open file menu. Alt plus F file menu. Alt plus E opens edit menu. Alt plus E edit menu. Alt plus V is view menu. Alt V view menu. Alt plus I insert menu. For insert menu Alt I. Alt plus T it's tools menu. T for tools menu. Alt plus H home tab. In the ribbon there will be home tab, and to go home tab we have to use Alt H. Alt plus N insert tab. Alt plus P page layout tab. Alt plus A in MS Office activates data tab. Alt plus M formulas tab. Alt plus R for review tab. Alt plus W view tab. Alt plus Q is used for focuses tell me what you want to do box. Alt plus Q for tell me what you want to do box. Alt control I in MS Word opens print preview. Alt control I for print preview. So friends, all the questions which are asked in 2025 competitive exam are over. Now here is the quick overview categorically. Quick overview category wise. And first category is basic editing, that is cut, copy, paste, undo, redo, select, delete. Control C copy. Control X cut. Control V paste. Control Z undo. Control Y redo. Control A select all. Control D bookmark for browser, and Control D duplicate slide for PowerPoint. Control J downloads in browser, and Control J justify for MS Office. Shift plus delete permanent delete. Shift delete permanent delete. Control Shift C copy formatting. Control Shift V paste formatting. F4 repeat last action. Control F navigation or search. Control Q remove paragraph formatting. Control Shift L bullet list. Control Shift G ungroup objects in PowerPoint. Control K insert hyperlink. F7 spell check. Now second category is file option, and here we will learn new, open, save, print, properties and rename. Control N new file. Control O open file. Control S save file. Control P print. Alt enter properties full screen. F2 for rename. Control W close window. Control Shift N new folder or normal style. Control F2 print preview. Alt Control I print preview. Next category is browser shortcut. Control T new tab. Control W close tab. Control Shift T reopen closed tab. Control L address bar. Control H history. Control J downloads. Control Shift N incognito, and F5 or Control R refresh. Next category is formatting, in which we learn bold, italic, underline, font size and alignment. Control B bold. Control I italic. Control U underline. Control E center align. Control R right align. Control L left align. Control Shift greater than increase of font. Control Shift less than decrease of font. Control M indent. Control M indent. Control Shift M remove indent. Control T hanging indent. Control Shift T reduce indent. Alt Shift plus left or right promote or demote heading. Alt Shift left promote. Alt Shift right demote. Control Shift F font or Control Shift P font size dialog. Next category, navigation. To move cursor, switch apps, tabs or desktops. Control plus home, top of the document. Alt tab, switch apps. Control tab, next tab. Control Shift Escape, task manager. Control Alt Delete, security menu. Windows D, show desktop. Windows L, lock screen. Windows E, file explorer. In navigation, next is Windows tab, task view. Windows Control D, new virtual desktop. Windows Control left or right arrow, switch desktop. Control plus page up or page down, move sheets. Alt plus Q, search bar. Control plus colon, show formulas. Next category is find, replace, hyperlink, spelling and page tools. Control plus H, replace or history. Control plus K, hyperlink. Alt Shift D or T, insert date, time. Alt Shift D, D for date, T for time. Control Enter, page break. Alt F8, run macro. Alt F11, VBA editor, Visual Basic Editor. Control spacebar, clear formatting. Shift F3, insert function in Excel. Control F3, name manager or paste name. Next category is system and task management, that is Windows function. Windows plus R, run. Windows plus I, setting. Windows plus X, power user menu. Windows plus A, action center. Windows plus N, notifications. Windows plus H, voice typing. Windows plus V, clipboard. Windows plus K, cast. Windows plus P, project display. Windows plus pause, system info. Alt plus space, Windows menu. Next category is accessibility and view control, that is zoom, sniping or magnifier. Windows plus zoom or magnifier. Windows plus Shift plus S, sniping tool. F11 or Alt Enter, full screen. Alt V, view tab. Alt W, view tab in ribbon. Next category is developer or advanced function. Alt F8 for run macro. Alt F11 for VBA editor. Alt L, developer tab. Alt H N P A M R W as per the office tab in the office ribbon. Alt F E I T as per menu access in office tab menu. Alt N P T, same, insert picture or text box in PowerPoint. Alt V D, slide shorter view. Alt V D, slide shorter view. So quick overview, category wise is completed. Now there are some questions according to exam. Here is the MS Windows shortcut keys, frequently asked questions in the exams. You can note down all these shortcut key to revise later. All these shortcut keys are frequently asked in competitive exam and these are most repeated questions. Shortcut key to open file explorer, Windows E. What is the shortcut to lock your PC? Windows plus L. Shortcut to minimize all windows? Windows plus M. Shortcut to open the Run dialog box? Windows plus R. Shortcut key to open the Start menu if Windows key is not working, that is Control Escape. Shortcut to close current window? Alt F4. Shortcut to open Action Center? Windows plus A. Shortcut to open Task Manager directly? Control Shift Escape. To switch between running application? Alt plus Tab. Shortcut to delete file permanently? Shift plus Delete. These 10 questions are most repeated. Next, MS Word shortcut keys. Here is the shortcut keys which are frequently asked in competitive exam, and these are most repeated questions. Shortcut key for bold in MS Word: Control B to open a document, Control O for undo, Control Z for redo, Control Y to justify a paragraph, Control J to insert a page break, Control Enter to select all content in Word, Control A to underline selected text, Control U to increase font size in Word, Control Shift greater than to open font dialog box, Control D to apply bullet points, Control Shift L to insert current date in Word, Alt Shift D. Next, MS Excel shortcut keys. These are the MS Excel shortcut keys which are frequently asked in competitive exam, and these are the most repeated questions in MS Excel. Shortcut to edit a cell in MS Excel: F2 to insert current date, Control plus semicolon. Shortcut to insert current time: Control Shift colon. Shortcut to create a chart from selected data: F11. Shortcut to auto sum selected range: Alt plus equal to. Shortcut to select entire column: Control plus space. Shortcut to select entire row: Shift plus space. Control plus space entire column, and Shift plus space entire row. Shortcut to hide selected row in Excel: Control plus 9. Shortcut to hide selected column in Excel: Control plus 0. For 9, hide selected row. For 0, hide selected column. Shortcut to apply percentage format: Control Shift percentage. Next is MS PowerPoint shortcut keys. These shortcut keys are frequently asked in competitive exam, but these 10 questions are most repeated in each and every competitive exam. Shortcut to start slideshow from beginning: F5. Shortcut to start slideshow from current slide: Shift F5. Shortcut to insert a new slide: Control plus M. Shortcut to duplicate a slide: Control plus D. Shortcut to go to the next slide during a slideshow: spacebar or N. Shortcut key to make the screen black during slideshow: B. Only to press B to make the screen black during slideshow. Shortcut to insert hyperlink: Control plus K. Shortcut to increase font size: Control plus Shift plus greater than. Shortcut key to exit from slideshow: Escape. Shortcut to go to the previous slide during slideshow: P or backspace. Next is internet or web browser shortcut keys. These shortcut keys are frequently asked in competitive exam, and these 10 questions are most repeated in each and every competitive exam. Shortcut to open a new tab: Control plus T. Shortcut to reopen the last closed tab: Control plus Shift plus T. Shortcut to open incognito private window: Control Shift N. shortcut to open browser history, Control plus H, shortcut to find text on a web page, Control plus F, shortcut to zoom in on a page, Control plus, shortcut to bookmark the current page, Control plus D, shortcut to refresh a web page, F5, shortcut to go full screen, F11, shortcut to open the downloads page, Control plus J. Next is general shortcuts which are used in all apps. These are the general shortcuts which are frequently asked in exams, and here is the most repeated questions. Shortcut key for copy, Control C. Shortcut key for cut, Control X. Shortcut key for paste, Control V. Shortcut key to undo the last action, Control Z. Shortcut key to select all content, Control A. Shortcut to save a document, Control S. Shortcut to print a file, Control P. Shortcut to lock the computer, Windows L. Shortcut to open run dialog box, Windows R. Shortcut to close and open window or app, Alt F4. So friends, now we have come to the PIQ, previous year questions, which have 300 MCQ for your practice. First of all, Windows shortcut keys. Alt plus F4 does what? Closes the current window, open the current window, minimize the current window, or maximize the current window. Alt F4 closes the current window. Windows D does what? Hide desktop, show desktop, open document, or close document. Windows D, show desktop. Shortcut key to minimize all open windows. The correct answer is Window plus M. Which shortcut closes the active window? Alt tab, Control W, Control Q, Alt F4. Alt F4 is used to close active window. Which is the shortcut to minimize all open windows? Alt M, Windows D, Control M, or Alt D? The correct answer is Windows D, to minimize open windows. Which shortcut key opens the file explorer in Windows? Windows E, Control E, Alt E, or Shift E? The correct answer is Windows E. What does the shortcut Alt plus Tab do? Switch between open applications, minimize all windows, close active tab, or refresh screen? The correct answer, switch between open applications. Control Shift N is used for create new folder, create new tab, new window, or open run dialog. Control Shift N for create new folder. Which shortcut key is used to open a new incognito window in Chrome? The correct answer is Control plus Shift plus N. What is the shortcut to open the start menu? The correct answer is Control plus Escape to open the start menu. Which shortcut key is used to refresh the page in Windows Explorer? The correct answer is F5 is used to refresh the page in Windows Explorer. Which shortcut key is used to open the task view in Windows 10? The correct answer is Windows Tab to open task view. Control Shift Escape opens Task Manager. Control Shift Escape opens Direct Task Manager. What does Control Shift T do in web browser? The correct answer is reopen last closed tab. Control Shift T to reopen last closed tab. What does Alt F4 do in Windows? Close current window. Alt F4 to close current window. Shortcut to open the run dialog box. Windows R, Alt R, Control R or Shift R. Correct answer is Windows R. Windows R to open the Run dialog box. Shortcut to lock your PC screen in Windows. Correct answer is Windows L. Windows L to lock your PC screen Windows. Shortcut to open Task Manager directly. Control Shift Escape. Control Shift Escape for opening Task Manager directly. Shortcut to switch between open application in window. Alt Tab. Alt Tab to switch between open application in window. Shortcut to create a new folder in window. Control Shift N. Control Shift N to create a new folder in window. What does Control plus D do in Chrome? Bookmark page. Control plus D, bookmark page. In Windows, shortcut to show the desktop is Windows D. Windows D to show the desktop. What does Shift plus Delete do in Windows? Permanently delete. Shift Delete for permanently delete. Shortcut to open File Explorer in Windows. The correct answer is Windows plus E to open File Explorer. Shortcut to close a window in Microsoft Office apps. Correct answer is Control F4. Control F4 to close window. Shortcut for switching input language in Windows. Correct answer is Alt Shift. Alt Shift for switching input language. Shortcut for Windows search. Windows S. Windows plus S for window search. In Windows, shortcut to minimize all windows. The correct answer is Window plus M. Window plus M for minimize all windows. Shortcut key to open System Properties window. Correct answer is Windows plus pause break to open System Properties. Shortcut to minimize all windows in Windows plus M. Windows plus M to minimize all windows in window. Shortcut to maximize the current window. To maximize the current window, Window plus up arrow. Alt plus Tab do in Windows operating system. The correct answer, switch between open apps. Alt plus Tab for switch between open apps. Shortcut to open a link in a new window. Correct answer, Shift plus click. Shift click to open a link in a new window. Shortcut to lock your computer. The correct answer is Windows plus L to lock computer. Shortcut to open incognito or private browsing window. Control Shift N. Control Shift N to open incognito or private browsing. Shortcut to open a new tab in browser. The correct answer is Control T. Control T to open new tab. Shortcut is used to close a current tab in browser. Correct answer is Control W. Control W to close current tab. Shortcut does Control plus D do in web browser. Bookmark the current page. Control plus D for bookmark the current page. What is the shortcut to select the address bar in browser? Both B and C. Control plus L, Alt plus D to select the address bar in browser. What does Control plus T do in web browser? Correct answer is new tab. Control T for new tab. What is the shortcut to close the current tab in browser? The correct answer is Control W. Control W to close the current tab. What is the shortcut to reopen the last closed tab in a browser? Control Shift T. Control Shift T is used to reopen the last closed tab. Shortcut to refresh a web page. The correct answer is F5 and Control R. Both are used to refresh a web page. What does F11 do in a browser? Full screen. F11 for full screen. Shortcut to zoom in on a web page. Zoom in on a web page. Control plus. Control plus is used to zoom in. Control minus, zoom out. Shortcut to zoom out on a web page. Control minus. Shortcut to reset zoom level in browser. The correct answer is Control 0. Control 0 to reset zoom level. Control plus Shift plus T do in browser. Reopen the last closed tab. Control Shift T for reopen last closed tab. Shortcut to open the downloads folder in Chrome. Control plus J. Control plus J to open the downloads folder. What is the shortcut to bookmark the current page in a browser? Control plus D to bookmark the current page. What does Control Shift Delete do in a browser? Clear browsing data. Control Shift Delete to clear browsing data. Shortcut to view browser history. Control plus H. Control plus H to view browser history. What does F11 do in a web browser? Full screen. F11 for full screen. Shortcut to open developer tool in Chrome's. Control Shift I. Control Shift I to open developer tools. What is the use of Control plus N in a browser? Open new window. Control plus N, N for new window. What does Control Shift N do in Chrome? Open incognito window. Control Shift N, incognito window. Shortcut to move to the address bar in a browser. All of the above. Control L, Alt D or F6. You can use any of these three to move to the address bar in any browser. Shortcut to open a link in a new tab. Control plus click. Shortcut to open a link in a new tab. You have to press Control and click on that link to open the new tab. Shortcut to zoom in on a browser page. Control plus. Control plus is used to zoom in. Shortcut to zoom out on a browser page. Control minus. Here you can notice maximum questions are repeating and they are coming in different exam. So all these questions are very important for your coming competitive exam. Next, shortcut to reset zoom in a browser. Control plus 0. Control plus 0 to reset zoom in a browser. Shortcut to open find on page features in browser. Control F. Control F for find. What does Control U do in a web browser? View source code. Not underline. Underline in MS Word. Control U for underline in MS Word. But in web browser, Control U to view source code. What does Control T do in a browser? Open new tab. Control plus T to open new tab. Shortcut to open browser settings. Control plus. Control plus comma. Control plus comma is used to open browser setting. Shortcut to open downloads in Firefox browser. Control J. Control J is used to open downloads. What is the shortcut to open Chrome's Task Manager? It's Shift Escape. Shift Escape is used to open Chrome's Task Manager. Shortcut to move between tabs in browser. Control plus tab. Control tab to move between tabs in browser. Shortcut to move to previous browser tab. Control Shift tab to move previous browser tab. Control Shift tab to move previous browser tab. Which shortcut is used to refresh web page? It's F5. F5 is used to refresh web page. Shortcut to refresh a web page. The same question is repeating in RRB, NTPC 2019, SSC, JE 2021. Shortcut to refresh a web page, it's F5 and Control R. Control R and F5 both can be used to refresh web page. Which is the shortcut to lock your computer? It's Windows L. Windows L to lock your computer. So friends, now next questions for MS Word. Shortcut to open spelling and grammar check in Word. F7. In all the apps, F7 is used for spelling and grammar checking. Shortcut key to open Microsoft Office Help in Word. It's F1. F1 is used for help. What does Ctrl plus N do in MS Word? Creates new document. Ctrl plus N creates new document. What does Ctrl plus E? Align center. Ctrl E align center. Ctrl plus Home does what in MS Word? Go to first page. Ctrl plus Home go to first page. What does the shortcut Ctrl D do in MS Word? Open font dialog box. Ctrl D to open font dialog box. What is the shortcut for spelling and grammar check in MS Word? It's F7. The questions is repeating again. Which shortcut key inserts a hyperlink in MS Word? Control key. Control key not only for MS Word but for all apps. Control K is used for hyperlink. Which is the shortcut to open Save As dialog box in MS Word? Save As. F12. Save, Control S. Control S for save. But to open Save As dialog box, we have to use F12. Control plus Shift plus AL. Control Shift L in Word applies bullet list. Control Shift L bullet list. Control plus Q in MS Word. Remove paragraph formatting. Control Q remove paragraph formatting. Shortcut key to print preview. Control plus F2. Control F2 to print preview. Increases font size in MS Word. Control plus box bracket. To key, which shortcut key increases font size in MS Word? It is Control plus box bracket. Which shortcut is used to decrease font size? Control plus starting box bracket. Which shortcut key repeats the last command in MS Word? F4. F4 repeats the last command in MS Word. Which key combination justifies the next in Word? It's Control J, justify. Control J for justify. Justify alignment. Which shortcut aligns text to the right in MS Word? It's Control R. Control R for right, Control E for center, Control L for left and Control J for justify. In Word, Control Shift greater than increases font size by predefined steps. You cannot change the setting Control Shift greater than increases font size according to predefined steps. Which shortcut aligns selected text to the left in Word? Control L. Control L aligns left. Control E center. Control J justify, and Control R right. Shortcut to insert a comment in MS Word. Control Alt M. Control Alt M to insert comment. To save as PDF in MS Word. Alt F A. Alt F A to save as PDF in MS Word 2016 onwards. What does the keyboard shortcut Control Shift plus C? Control Shift C, copy formatting. What does Control Shift V? Paste formatting. V for paste and C for copy. What is the shortcut to center align text in Word? Center align is Control E. Which shortcut key is used to check word count in MS Word? It's Control Shift G. Control Shift G to check word count. What does the F12 key do in MS Word? Save as. F12 for save as. Shortcut for superscript is Control Shift plus. Control Shift plus is used for superscript. Subscript for subscript, Control plus equal to. For superscript, Control Shift plus, and subscript, Control plus equal to. What is the shortcut to open thesaurus in Word? Shift plus F7. Shift F7 for open thesaurus. Shortcut to move to the beginning of the document in Word. Control Home. Control Home to move beginning of the document. Shortcut key to redo in MS Word. It's Control Y. Redo, Control Y. Shortcut to move to the end of the document in Word. Control End. Control Home, beginning of the document. Control End, end of the document. And redo, Control Y. Undo, Control Z. What is the shortcut for left alignment? It's Control L. Shortcut Control Shift plus greater than. Greater than means increase font size. Less than means decrease font size. Control Shift less than decrease the font size. Just watch, in 2020 and in 2022 these questions came in the exam. What does Control Shift L do in MS Word? Apply bullet list. L for list, bullet list. Which shortcut opens the spelling grammar check in Word? Spelling and grammar check, F7 for all the apps. What is the shortcut to apply strike through in Word? Control 5. Control 5 to apply strike through. What does Control Shift F do? Control Shift F, open font dialog box. Control F, find. Control Shift F, open font dialog box. What is the shortcut to undo the last action in MS Word? It's Control Z. Control Z, undo. Control U, redo. Sorry, Control Y, redo. Control U, underline. Control R, right alignment. What does Control Y do in MS Word? It's redo. What is the shortcut to open a new document in MS Word? Control N. N for new document. Control O do in MS Word? O for open. Control O, open. What is the function of Control B in Word? It's bold. Control B for bold. What does Control I in MS Word? Italic. Control I, italic. Control U, do in Word, underline, Control U, underline. Which shortcut key opens the find dialog in MS Word? Control F for find dialog. Shortcut to open the replace dialog in Word, Control H. Control F for find, Control H for replace. In MS Word, which shortcut opens the thesaurus? Shift F7. Shift F7 to open thesaurus. What is the shortcut for left align text in MS Word? Control L. Control L left, Control R right, Control J justify, and Control E center. What does Control F2 do in MS Word? It's print preview. Print preview by Control F2. What is the shortcut for right align text in MS Word? It's Control R. What is the shortcut to center align text in Word? Center align, Control E. Left, right, justify, center. Shortcut key to open Microsoft Office Help in Word. It's F1, and F1 is for all apps for help. Which key is used to align justify in MS Word? Control J. Control J for justify. What does Control plus Tab do in MS Word? Move between open tabs. Control plus Tab, move between open tabs, and it is also for all types of apps. In Word, shortcut for select all, Control A. Control A, select all. Control Shift U, do in Word. Control Shift U, change to uppercase. Control Shift U, change to uppercase. In Word, shortcut to insert page break, Control plus Enter. Page break, Control plus Enter. Shortcut to insert table in MS Word, Alt NT. Alt NT is used to insert table. Shortcut to move cursor to beginning of line, it's Home. Shortcut to move cursor to end of line, it's End. End for end of line, Home for beginning of line. Shortcut to open navigation pane in Word, Control plus F. Shortcut to show or hide ruler in Word, Alt WR. Alt WR to show or hide ruler in Word. Shortcut to insert symbol in Word, Alt NU. Alt NU to insert symbol. Control plus Shift plus F do in MS Word. Control Shift F, font dialog box. To open page setup dialogs in MS Word, Alt PSP, open page setup. Page setup. Shortcut to open format painter in Word, Alt HFP. Alt HFP to open format painter. Shortcut to delete a word to the right in Word, Control Delete to delete a word to the right. Shortcut to delete a word to the left, Control Backspace. For left, backspace. For right, delete. Shortcut to print layout view in Word, Alt WP. Print layout view, Alt WP. What does F12 do in MS Word? Save as. F12, save as. What does Control Q do in MS Word? Remove paragraph formatting. Control Q, remove paragraph formatting. What is the shortcut to close MS Word without closing Windows? Control W and Control F4. What is the shortcut to close? Control W or Control plus F4 is used to close MS Word without closing Windows. Shortcut to insert comment in Word, Control Alt M. Control Shift N for apply normal style. Control Shift N for apply normal style. Shortcut to check accessibility in Word or PowerPoint. Alt R A to check accessibility in Word or PowerPoint. What is the function of Control Shift F3? It's paste content from spike. Control F3 do in MS Word. Copy selected text to spike. Control F3 copy selected text to spike. What does Alt F8 do in MS Word? Run macro. Alt F8 to run macro. Control plus Shift plus C is used to Control Shift C used to copy formatting. Control Shift V is used to paste formatting. The same question is repeating. 21, 20 and before it also came. What does Control plus spacebar do in Word? Remove formatting. Control plus spacebar remove formatting. Control plus Q remove paragraph formatting. What is the function of Control Shift plus L in Word? Bullet list. L for list. Control Shift L bullet list. Shortcut to switch between open Word documents. It's Control plus F6. Shortcut to switch between open Word documents. Control plus F6. What does Alt F10 do in Word? Alt F10 to show or hide selection pane. To show or hide selection pane. Control Shift K in Word is used for small caps. Control Shift K small cap or Control Shift U upper caps or uppercase. What does Control Shift FW do in Word? Print. Control Shift FW print, which are same. Control plus P. Control plus P is also used for print and Control Shift F12 is also used for print. What does Control Shift G? Word count. Control Shift G word count. What does F5 do in Word? F5 go to find or Control F. Control F find. F5 also used for go to find. What does Shift F3 in MS Word? Change case. Shift F3 is used to change case from lowercase to uppercase or uppercase to lowercase. What does Control F10? Maximize document window. Control F10 maximize document window. Control F for find. Control F to find. Control Shift left arrow do in Word. Control Shift left arrow select previous word. Control Shift left arrow previous word. Control Shift right arrow next word. Control Shift end do in Word. Select to end of document. Control Shift end select to end of the document. What does Control Shift right? Control Shift right arrow select next word. Shortcut to go to the beginning of a line in Word. Home. Shortcut to go to the end of the line. End. Shortcut to apply superscript in Word. Control Shift equal to superscript. Control Shift equal to subscript. Control equal to Control Shift equal to superscript or Control equal to subscript. Control Shift plus C is used for copy formatting or Control Shift V for paste formatting. Shortcut to open go to dialog box in Word. It's F5 or Control G. Control G is also used for go to dialog box and F5 is also used for go to dialog box. What does Shift F7 do in MS Word? Thesaurus. F7 to open thesaurus. Now MS PowerPoint questions. Shortcut for inserting a new slide in PowerPoint. New slide Alt NS. Alt NS. Which shortcut key will insert a new slide in MS PowerPoint? Control plus M. control plus M. Which key combination is used to duplicate slide in PowerPoint? Control D for duplicate a slide. A correction: for inserting new slide in PowerPoint using keyboard navigation, it is Control M, not Alt NS. Control M. Shortcut key will insert a new slide in MS PowerPoint. Control M. And for duplicate, D for duplicate, Control D. What is the shortcut key for full screen view in PowerPoint? It's F5. It's F5. But for Shift F5 to get full screen from the current slide. What is the shortcut key for new slide in PowerPoint? Control M. This question is repeating. What does Control Q in PowerPoint? Clear paragraph formatting. Shortcut for slideshow from current slide in MS PowerPoint. Shift F5. Shift F5. Shortcut for full screen slideshow in PowerPoint. This question is also repeating. F5. F5 full screen. Shortcut for full screen slideshow in PowerPoint. Again F5. देखिए, this is 2019. This is 2020. This is 22. So all the questions which are selected here, all are repeated in competitive exam. Shortcut key to open new slide, Control M. Shortcut to go to previous slide during slideshow, it's P or backspace. For spell check, F7. I have already told you that F7 is used for spell checking for all apps. Shortcut to open slideshow tab in PowerPoint ribbon, Alt S. Shortcut to exit from slideshow is Escape. Escape is used to exit from slideshow. Shortcut to make text italic, Control I. Shortcut to make text bold, Control B. Control B for bold. Now MS Excel shortcut keys. Which shortcut adds a new worksheet in Excel? Shift F11. Which shortcut key activates the edit mode in a cell? F2. This is very important. Shortcut for inserting current time in Excel, Control Shift colon. Control Shift colon for inserting current time. Shortcut for inserting today's date in Excel, Control plus semicolon. Colon time semicolon date. Which key group is used for inserting functions formulas? It's Shift F3. What is the shortcut to repeat last action in Excel? F4. F4 used for repeat last action. Shortcut to go to dialog box in Excel, F5. F5. What is the shortcut for print area in Excel? Alt PRA. Alt PRA. Shortcut to toggle between absolute and relative reference in Excel, it's F4. F4. Shortcut key to switch between open workbooks in Excel, it's Control Tab. Control Tab. Which key opens the VBA editor in Excel? Alt F11. Alt F11 to open VBA editor in Excel. What does Control plus 5 do in MS Word or Excel? Strike through. Control plus 5, strike through. Control Shift plus does what? Insert blank cell. Control Shift plus to insert blank cell. Control Shift equal to inserts a cell. Control Shift plus L, apply filter. Control Shift L, apply filter. Control plus page down moves to previous worksheet. Control plus space bar selects entire column. Control plus space bar select entire column. What does Shift space bar do in Excel? Selects entire row. Shift space bar entire row. Control space bar entire column. What is the shortcut for inserting a new worksheet in Excel? Shift F11. Shift F11 for inserting new worksheet. Alt F8 in Excel. Open macro dialog. Alt F8 open macro dialog. What is the use of Control plus in Excel? Enter current date. Control plus Shift plus enter current time. Control plus date. Control Shift plus time. What does Control plus Shift plus insert? Blank cell. Blank cell. Which key is used to rename a worksheet in Excel? It's F2. F2 to rename a worksheet. Shortcut to select entire column in Excel. Control spacebar. Shortcut to select entire row in Excel. Shift spacebar. Both questions are repeating. Shortcut to apply filter in Excel. Control Shift L. Shortcut to toggle absolute or relative cell reference. It's F4. F4. What does Control A do in MS Word or Excel? Select all content. Control A for select all. Control Shift plus dollar apply currency format. Control Shift dollar apply currency format. Control Shift percentage apply percentage format. Control Shift hash apply date format. For hash date format, for dollar currency format, and for percentage it is percentage format. What does Control Alt V? Paste special. To open format cell dialogs in Excel. Control 1. To switch between worksheets in Excel. Control plus page up or page down. What is the shortcut to freeze pans in Excel? Alt F, Alt W F F. Shortcut to insert a new comment. Shift F2. To insert hyperlink in Word or Excel. Control K. Control K is for hyperlink irrespective of apps. What is the shortcut to open find and replace in Excel? Control H. It's same for MS Word. Shortcut to bold text in Excel. Control B. Control B for bold. Shortcut to italicize text in Excel. Control U. Control I. Italics. Control I for italics. Shortcut to underline. Control U. What does Control plus grave accent do in Excel? Shows formula. Shortcut to close Excel workbook. Control W, Control F4, Alt F4. You can use any one of these three to close Excel workbook. Shortcut to open help window in Excel. It's F1. F1 is for help irrespective of apps. Shortcut to create a chart in Excel. Alt F1. Shortcut to insert new chart in Excel. F11. To refresh pivot table. Control Alt F5. Shortcut to insert function in Excel. Shift F3. To open the name manager, it's Control F3. To enter edit mode in Excel cell, it's F2. To insert current time in Excel, Control Shift plus. Control Shift colon. Control Shift colon is used to insert current time. Shortcut to exit Word or Excel app completely. Alt F4. Alt F4 to exit. Control Shift plus greater than to increase font size. Shortcut to exit from Word or Excel. Alt F4, Control F4, Control W. Shortcut to move to next worksheet in Excel. Control page down. Shortcut to move to previous worksheet in Excel. Control page up. Control Shift L for apply filter. Control D in Excel. Duplicate cell above. Control R in Excel. Copy cell to right. To create a new workbook in Excel. Control N to create a new workbook. What does F4 do in Excel? Repeat last action. F4 for repeat last action. Control Shift plus tilde. Apply general number format. Control Shift tilde for apply general number format. Shortcut to insert a comment in Excel. Shift F2. Shortcut to toggle between relative and absolute reference in Excel. It's F4. Shortcut to move to the last cell with data in Excel. It's Control End. Shortcut to insert current time in Excel. Control Shift colon. Shortcut to insert current date in Excel. Control plus semicolon. Both questions are repeating. Shortcut to move to the first cell A1 in Excel. Control plus home. To wrap text in a cell in Excel. Alt H W. To hide selected rows in Excel. Control N. To insert a new worksheet in Excel. Shift 11. This question is also repeating in each exam. Shortcut to start a new line in the same cell. Alt Enter. To unhide columns in Excel. It's Control Shift 0. To unhide rows in Excel. Control Shift 9. To hide Control 9. To unhide Control Shift 9. To hide column Control 0. To unhide Control Shift 0. Shortcut to hide selected column Control 0. Unhide Control Shift 0. To open the insert chart dialog in Excel. Alt N R. To open the format cell dialogs in Excel. Control 1. Control plus page down in Excel. Next worksheet. What does Control B do in Excel? Bold selected cell content. What shortcut key is used to insert a chart in Excel? It's F11. It's F11. This question is also repeating in each and every exam. Which shortcut is used to insert hyperlink in Excel? Is Control K. Control K is used for hyperlink irrespective of applications. Now here is the general shortcuts which are used in all apps. Which shortcut is used to select all content in a document? Control A. Which shortcut is used to paste copied content? Control V. What does Control Z do? Undo. Control S for save. Which shortcut key is used to cut selected content? Cut. Control X. Control C copy. Control V paste. Control Z undo. Control X cut. Which shortcut key is used to copy selected text? Control C. Which key is used to bold selected text? Control B. Control B bold. Control P print. Control I italic. Control U underline. What does Control P do? Print document. Control P for print document. Which key combination is used to italicize text? Control I to italic. Which shortcut key is used to underline selected text? Underline selected text means Control U underline. Shortcut key for redo. Redo is Control Y. Control Z is undo. Control X cut. What is the function of Control O? Open a document. Control O open a document. What is the shortcut to find in most application? Shortcut for find in most application. Control F for find. Which key combination is used to open task manager directly? Control Shift Escape. Control Shift Escape is used to open task manager directly. Which function key is used to open the help menu in most programs? It is F1 for help. Which function key is used to rename a selected file or folder? It's F2 for rename, F1 for help. Which shortcut key is used to rename a file folder? Again F2. Shortcut key to delete a selected item permanently without sending to recycle bin. It's Shift delete to delete a selected item permanently. Control Shift F for font dialog box. Control Shift F. Shortcut for select all in a file or folder. Control A for select all. Alt F4 is used to close current application. Alt F4 to close current application. What is the shortcut to print a document? It's Control P. It's Control P to print a document. Which shortcut key is used to save a document? Control S, save. Which key opens the replace dialog box? Control H. Control F for find and Control H for replace. Shortcut to insert a hyperlink in MS Office. Control K for hyperlink. Shortcut to rename. F2. Shortcut to open context menu using keyboard. Shift F10. Shortcut to jump to the beginning of a document. Control Home for beginning and Control End for last. Shortcut to jump to the end of a document. Control End. Shortcut to move text without copy paste. Select F2 then enter. Shortcut to move text without copy paste. Select F2 then enter. Shortcut for activating the ribbon in MS Office. It's Alt. Control Shift A is used for all capital letters. Control Shift A for all capital letters. So friends, here 300 MCQ of previous year questions are completed and you have practiced well. Now this is homeworks and you will give answer in comment. There are 4 questions. First of all, shortcut key Alt plus tab is used for which purpose? Is it close active tab, minimize all windows, switch between open applications or refresh screen? RRB NTPC 2025. Second question is, what is the shortcut key for full screen view in PowerPoint? F5, Control F5, Shift F5 or Alt F5? Asked in SSC CGL 2022. Now third question, in Excel, which shortcut key activates the edit mode in a cell? F5, F2, F7 or Control E? Asked in SSC CGL 2019. And the last question is, what is the shortcut key for redo? Control Z, Control X, Control Y or Control D? It is also asked in SSC CGL 2019. So friends, thanks for watching. I have completed the video. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you. Have a